guess I'll keep that page up. I can just look at the comments from here. Why not? Down home.
Hey, everybody.
Are we live?
I think so. I think we might be live.
Hi, I'm Rick Beato. This is Marty Guitar.
Wait a minute.
What? I've been waiting for weeks for that.
That may not be 100% accurate.
No,
actually.
is that not right? No. I'm Eugene Edwards, and that's Dr. Dylan Caligiuri. We're two guys with guitars. Welcome to the premiere episode. Now, hey, I don't even know if you can hear me or not, but we've been having some technical issues. We'll get better as we do this. We're doing this on a kind of a humble setup. Yeah.
I mean, can you guys hear us right now? Can
Somebody
you
tell us. Look in the comments. Say, hey,
we can hear you. They said. Now hold on. So, can you hear this guitar?
Can you hear his guitar? We're gonna do this for the next 15 minutes. We're just gonna ask you what
Keith
you can hear.
M says he can hear us fine. I think we're in
Now,
business.
did I just play better than Dylan? Somebody be honest.
Guitar sounds great.
Nikki, be honest.
I think that comment says no. Eugene can't play. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. Wow,
You know what? That's
really
funny.
rough.
I was gonna mention that later on. Oh, I guess I should mute this. Shouldn't I?
We're definitely in the webosphere.
Yeah. Maybe now is not the right time and place, but I actually cannot play guitar. I just make it look like that on my social media feed. I've been bluffing this whole
It's
time.
been a sham.
Hold on.
Years
Years
of a sham.
So here's the deal. So obviously it's a very casual show, but frankly, people have tried to get us to do formal things over the years. It just always ends up being casual.
I can't find the right size
matter.
suit.
Yeah, well, there's that. He has the wrong size suit, and so we are going to be dependent on your questions for the most part. But if not, we'll always have sort of curriculum things set up and prepared to show you. Now, I got a couple of questions on the social medias, and so we have a few things to work with, and then normally things come up. So if you have a question, just throw it in the chat. We'll get to it. We promise. And if we don't get to it this week, of course, we'll hold off for next week, and we'll make sure it's all there. It's
Conspiracy.
Everybody, yeah, exactly. Oh, the Patreon kicked me off. That's not my problem. But thank you for checking in. By the way, we are kind of this independent little thing, just two guys with guitars. So if you can go to our Patreon site, then please throw us a few shekels. It doesn't even cost a whole lot, and it'll keeps the lights on.
Yeah, sorry about we're working on getting it linked through Patreon to work. So
yeah, well,
hang in there.
Yeah, it's just the first week. It's just kind of are we going to call this a beta testing show? Or is it really
I think the funnest part is going to be you guys seeing me and Eugene try to learn how to use photo editing software. As you can tell from our logo.
Hey, man, that logo, that's catching on. People are excited.
We had thousands of dollars to work with for the budget, right? So
cut to me just begging my 15-year-old daughter to take a break from homework and bail me out on this thing. But okay, so now first, and we're just go right. Can we just go right to one of the questions?
I would like that. I would like that very much.
All right. So this one's, I don't even know if I have a solid answer for this one, but it's a decent question. So Kevin Dawkin asked me on Instagram.
Kevin
asked for tips on how to memorize songs for an upcoming gig.
Ooh, Kevin, that's a good question.
How to memorize songs.
Yeah. Well, I'll take the first half.
What you got, Doctor?
Okay, yeah. So, Kevin, I think the best way to memorize songs is using the number system, and even more specifically, learning cycles. So cycles are basically the way that chords generally lead from one to the next, right? So if I have a chord progression that goes anyways, it's canon and D is the point. And the progression follows what we call a falling fifths, or going up a fourth each time. Those are the complementary intervals. So common progressions like 1, 4, 5. People will say, "Oh yeah, that song's a 1, 4, 5 in G."
Yeah.
Or they'll say it's a 3, 6, 2, 5, 1 in E. And those types of little sort of reductions of a chord progression help one remember a lot of things fast. So it's basically clumping and chunking is the way you're going to remember a lot of things fast. I've heard of other ways, like, a lot of people remember songs by hooks.
So this is what I just did a gig on Saturday night, and there was some of the cover tunes I knew, or I was at least familiar with them. I'd heard them, but the original stuff I was not familiar with at all. Now, I got I was given a quick little chord chart, basically, kind of a number system situation. Yeah, which is fine, good to have. Yeah, but honestly, I just listened to the recordings of the tunes. on constant. I just didn't listen to any of the podcasts I normally listen to. I didn't listen to any of the people. He calls me a lot. I pretended I had him on mute.
I haven't called him in years.
But I just hearing the songs over and over. And what happened was I'm listening for the hook.
Yeah.
Hopefully the song has something that your ear's gonna hug. And by the time of the gig, you might see a song title say, which one is that? And someone will say, it's the one that they'll sing the little hook, or you can sing it's totally. That one. And that way you may not even be concerned with the title. So once you have that hook, everything is built around that hook. You're always going to be pointing towards it. Like Dylan's saying, certain chord changes. Listen to the bass player. He's usually going to be voice leading.
Oh, the bass player is your big,
especially if he's going to be walking, or there'll be some motion there. Now, so memorizing the song. Now let's face it though. You're probably going to have a cheat sheet on hand. Just a little. It might just be. Think about it. There might just be like the bridge you can't remember.
Yeah.
So just write the bridge to the song and use the number system.
At least have the starting key. Like sometimes the starting chord and the key of the song helps. Dave M asked what I'm playing. I'm playing an LSL actually, which is a guitar that's made here in LA.
What's LSL stand for?
Lightning and leprechauns. I have no idea what it stands for. Do you know what it stands for?
Laughing silently loud.
It does not. That's not what it stands for.
I'm pretty sure
stands for something lovely, I'm sure. But one of the notes on what you're talking about, and hey to everybody who's here. Thanks for being here, guys. We're just getting things rolling, and we can't wait to develop a full show with tigers and fire. We have a pyrotechnics person coming soon.
Oh yeah.
Not today though. But
by the way, we're on air. You know how we know?
We've got this
sign.
Look at that.
See,
now we haven't figured out how to put it together yet.
Yeah, we kind of.
But we're working on that.
We stole it from a bank.
Yeah. Well, let's not share that. So no, but one of the things I wanted
it's one of them banks that's closing very soon.
No, it's been so fun to make a show for you guys for so many years, and me and Eugene just didn't want to stop. We didn't want to stop.
Full disclosure, we kept meeting here every Wednesday and just did it anyway.
Yeah,
no one knew.
No one knew.
Which is rather sad.
No one knew.
But we took that frown and turned it into a smile.
That's right. But so memorizing songs. This is a great topic, right? So hey Scott, smoke break. I think one of the best ways to memorize songs is to really kind of think of it in sections.
That's right.
And then take those sections and be able to clump them together. And one of the best ways to know if you've memorized a song or not, like let's say it's like, hey, I'm going to play the gig and we have no rehearsals whatsoever.
The Saturday gig, there was no rehearsals.
Okay, no rehearsals. Yeah. Can you play the song without the music?
Without listening?
Without listening. So it's...
Right. Pick something with such a high rate.
Anyways, if you could play the whole song without, is Nikki here? Nikki's even here.
Yeah. Oh, our Nikki.
Our Nikki is here. Hey, Nikki.
Hi, Nikki.
So Nikki, of course, will be a guest on the show.
Say, guess what, Nikki? You just volunteered.
And we're just working out with her management right now and her agent, and it's as you can imagine. Agents. Anyways, no. We can't wait to have a lot of the old family on the show. We've got a lot of people lined up.
People up. So no. So what's
so if you could play through the song without the CD playing or whatever it is you're playing music through these days, right? That means you really know it. I mean, and that's the big test. So sometimes the best way to figure out how to memorize songs is figure out what you don't know and what you do know and work backwards from there. So it's like, well, I know. Sorry. Now I'm in trouble on that one. So I've got to go back and definitely learn that one versus another one I may think is going to give me problems, but I've already worked on it so much that I've already got it down when I go to play it.
On that Saturday gig, that's kind of what happened was I was found if there was a verse that had, say, like a very consistent repetitive chord change in the verse. Wasn't too worried about that. I was only worried about, is there something transition going into the pre-chorus or pre-chorus to chorus, just looking for those. Was there a specific hook I'm supposed to play? So you really start to just zero in on the part for which you're most responsible.
Yeah, I think that's a big part. Where am I going to stand out? Now, if you're a bass player, that's everywhere. So
True.
I'm sorry.
True. Yeah,
I'm really sorry.
Gotta know.
People tend to only notice sometimes even when you don't play the right thing.
I think I've noticed this on gigs, on pickup gigs. the bass player is always someone who's been on the gig for quite a while.
Oh yeah. Well, I hope
and
so.
then I'll be the sort of like he doesn't know what's happening.
You drop out, just look, just kind of look good over in the corner.
I would just not play. Or you know what we did? We did Heart of Glass, but in C major instead of E. The record's I think in E.
Yeah,
and we did down C. So again, that's where that number system and learning songs, if you can, without involving open strings. I know it sounds a little jazzy, but that can really bail you up because a song they may change the key, on you. And
that always
too reliant. Now with Heart of Glass, my only concern, I remember texting the singer and asking her, do you guys do the music, the 7/4 musical
and
bridge?
They'll say yes and not know that they don't do it.
These guys nailed it.
They did it. Okay, well, because we're in Hollywood,
But we were
oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm playing that melody there, and it doesn't make sense if the rhythm section doesn't play in 7/4. And they did. They were superb.
We've got a lot of people saying hi here. We've got to mention.
Hi.
Let's see if I can read that. Can you read some of those?
I can read tons of stuff from a distance. I'm good. Okay, so we got Daniel Neely there. Daniel. I think that's I don't know. Is that a cartoon of a? Oh, that's gross,
very
Daniel.
nice. No, Daniel, that's
okay,
not
sorry.
what it is.
Yeah, Darren M likes a fancy sign. Scott Fogelman,
Scott, Scott, thanks so much for being here.
You got Lions 7513. We didn't want you to stop either. Yeah, there you go. That's lovely.
We were like, why stop, right?
Yeah, we couldn't figure out a reason. Yeah. But we're playing guitars and talking about them all the time anyway, so we figured we may as well let you
turn
know
on
the conversation.
Camera.
And then thanks for answering my question from IG about remembering songs. You got it, Kevin, man. Thank you for the question. Of course, we're very, very grateful.
So can we do a little foray into that? So the number system, right? So this can be tricky to get down when you're a new player. So go ahead.
No, you're right. It seems like it's going to be tricky, but I tell you, in my experience, once I cottoned onto it at a young age, it really accelerated my ability to learn songs. I felt very, very empowered. It's almost like someone gave me the kind of the secret.
That's right.
To understanding how music works. And again, a reason why we go with this number system more often than not is that, and believe me, this happens on the bandstand. Go up there, they go into a song, I may not know it. I look at the bass player and I say, what key? Now we're just lip reading. Now, odds are it's going to be in B, C, D, or E, or G. Now that's out of the. They all look the same when you're lip reading. Now I learned this one. Some of the jazz guys, they'll do like if it's in the key of G, they'll put one finger up for one sharp.
Oh, that's pretty common actually. That's pretty common.
Or one finger down for one flat, meaning it's a key of F, B flat, E flat.
But even that's still pretty coded when you think about it.
Okay, so. Nashville number system, if they can just tell you what key it is, like by giving you one of these, and sometimes I actually accidentally tried to steal third bass once during the gig just because you got
one of these,
and then
and they thought
so. And then if somebody can flash me, it's a start on the 5, go to the 1. I can do the rest from there.
Yeah,
I can do the rest from there. So I'm sorry. Now go back to the primer on the. Some call it the Nashville number system. I've heard the matchbook number system,
the matchbook number system.
Fit the changes of a song on a matchbook.
I'm pretty sure we're just making things up now.
Oh, sure.
No.
But the internet.
Anything you guys have that you guys have learned these quickly with, by all means, let us know. If you can, the musical alphabet, the alphabet itself. Now, there's 12 notes total in Western music, but there's 7 note names, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yep.
So through a series of additions of sharps and flats, you end up with 12 notes. All right. So if A is 1 and G is 7, you know the Nashville number system, at least in the key of A, you do. Because what is 1 going to be? It's going to be A. What's 2 going to be?
B.
Now, here's where it gets tricky, though. This is where you have to know your scale theory. What is 3 going to be in the key of A major?
Wouldn't it be C?
No.
What?
I'm sorry.
God, I told you I can't play guitar.
Big whammy. No money. No, it's C sharp, right? Because the key of A has 3 sharps in it. And so that's why the friend that Eugene had was holding down his, that he was saying 3 sharps. And Daryl's got it right there. I'm sorry. He's got it right there. So that's the concept, right? And this system gets a little tricky, though. And I was going to mention while you're talking about that, another reason that the Nashville number system is so prevalent is music playing, not necessarily composing, not making money off of music, but music playing is not the biggest intellectual pursuit in the history of the world. It's more about feeling. So people are not necessarily, using music theory on stage. There's no calculators.
Oh, got you. I got you.
So they're players. Like it's a feeling based system, right? And it's very good. The Roman numeral system. I love that you just said that. The Roman numeral system communicates everything. It gives you, and that's what I was reading towards.
Yeah.
But the intellectualism of music on stage is more about a feeling, and things that get in the way are like arguments over, what's diatonic to a key, blah, 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 blah. It's 3, 6, 2, 5, 1.
That's for the conservatory.
That's for the, that's
for the lecture halls.
Where people hold their pinkies up, right? We have a mention of the Roman numeral system, and that's something that we should discuss.
We never mentioned the old show either. Okay, so this is if you're making your own chord charts, and let's say you're charting out a song, and you're going to use the number system. Use Roman numerals. So for the one chord, you can use Roman numeral 1. But let's say it goes to the 3 minor,
right?
It goes to the 3. So we're in the key of A. There's so use big, Roman numeral 1. The next chord is C sharp minor. That's the 3 minor.
That's right.
Key of A. Now, the best way to notate that is 3 lowercase i's.
That's
correct?
Right. Yeah. So lowercase I indicates minor, and uppercase Roman numerals indicate major.
Right.
Right.
Now, if the next chord is say D7. Like D dominant. Okay, that's a pretty weird.
It's a major chord, so you're going to have something in uppercase. Since we're in the key of A, D dominant is A, B, C, D. It's the 4, right? And then you'll have a 7 there indicating the dominant. So that's the system that is probably the most, but it's very difficult to create IV on stage. I think if you had a tattoo and you just covered the other ones. And they knew.
This is if you're writing it out. I think this is. And also, by the way, don't think of it as
hey Sean.
Hey, Sean, don't think of it. Hey, Brisbane. All right, cool.
Yeah.
No, never too late. Never too late. Now this may be a sheet that you'll have on stage, maybe, but hopefully if I'm learning tunes and I have time to learn tunes, and I did this for the gig on Saturday, as soon as I listened to it a few times, and then I started writing it out by my own hand, Sharpie on a piece of paper. For me, writing it out is one of the better ways to start memorizing something.
Yeah.
Whether it's the preamble to the Constitution, if it's a Shakespeare soliloquy, or if it's just the lyrics to "We Got the Beat" by the Go-Go's. I can't actually go into it right
now. Well, I want to give him an example.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to yell out a chord progression to you.
Okay.
And then I'm going to yell out some alterations.
Oh God.
I know it's going to be really testing. Right. Does everybody want to take the Pepsi challenge with okay, here we go. So here we go. It's a 1, 6, 2, 5 in the key of C.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Am I playing?
4. Okay, now it's going to be 3, 6, 2, 5, 1 in the key Now 1, flat 7, flat 5.
I anticipated. Yeah, I missed that flat 6.
Yeah, that's right. So, but it gives you the ability to just call out stuff instead of saying, if I have to think C major 7, A minor 7, like there's a lot of stuff involved there. But the chords that fall naturally in that key are going to basically, if you know your family of chords, you're going to be able to play over those. And the only time you have to mention an alteration is going to be when you are making an altered chord that's outside of the diatonic family of chords.
For example, if you're in the key of C, what would be like?
B flat major.
Okay, so that's what he said.
I said flat 7. Yeah, right. And that's what tells you that. So let's try another one. Are you ready for this? Okay, let's see. Are you guys ready for this?
How many of there are me?
So, Rex, are you ready? Okay,
we're all ready.
We have 2 guys. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. 2 minor, 2 minor, 3 major, 4 major, 1 minor, 2 minor. See, and he just knew that I was going back to the original progression at that point. So
the cycles, yeah, it felt right.
So anything you guys think you might want us to talk about in the future, whether it be on the Patreon with like, we're going to make some exclusive content for the Patreon folks, or on the show, by all means, please leave it in the comments. Reach out to us on social media or here, and we're literally going to make content just for you folks.
We'll start tailoring it. The Ventures of One Wire. I'd like to know what that name's all about.
Wow.
Definitely great having y'all back in my Wednesday evenings. My wife and I missed y'all. Well, we missed you too. Trust me. You know, like you said, sometimes people just put us on the background. And I actually had a friend in Phoenix. She just put it on the background while making dinner or something like that.
Knitting.
We're happy
That's
with
what
that.
I'm good for.
We're perfectly fine with that. I hear all sorts of voices in the background. I'm doing things.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're working. Oh my gosh. Alexis is here. So, Alexis, the famed and wonderful producer of a show that we did for a very long time.
So, Mara Lee thought she was hearing Fly Me to the Moon there.
You were hearing nodes of Fly Me to the Moon, Mara Lee. You absolutely were. Your sensors are working.
By the way, that's a very common change. You know, I think I've said this before. I don't get upset if there's similarities between two songs. I don't really go, oh my God, so-and-so ripped that off.
Yeah.
I just don't feel that way about music. There's only so many notes. There's only so many progressions. So fly me to the moon, let me run among the stars, and I kind of think of that as almost part of the E7. But we've also got
But this is a cycle progression that we were talking about.
Cycle fifth.
Yeah. Or let's go here. This is not my key.
So these three songs, we don't think of them in the same category. Fly Me to the Moon, You Never Give Me Your Money by the Beatles, and then I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. But they share this circle. In fact, Flowers by Miley Cyrus plays, which is, I think, a great
Flowers
pop
by
song.
Miley Cyrus.
Flowers, it's got this.
See, we're hip. I know that song. I listen to it all the time.
And so I think that I think all artists know I think they're very, very hip to what they're doing. Trust me. So I think Miley is almost kind of quoting part of the progression of I Will Survive, because of the lyric of Flowers is about, I can buy my own flowers. She's trying to, right? It's a terrible breakup, but she's convincing herself that she can live without somebody, just like Gloria Gaynor does in I Will Survive.
Yeah.
Or you never give me your money and you never send me flowers. Either way. But anyway, so I like to think that there's this big, big relationship between all artists and all tunes.
Yeah.
And again, notating songs, learning songs using that number system.
Yeah.
Really, really helps you figure out the logic of songs. And I kind of think of it as, I mean, it's probably a bad analogy, but learning how a magician does a particular trick, it doesn't ruin magic for you, but it makes but it kind of makes you, I think it makes me appreciate the actual artistry a little more.
It's like going behind the curtain in Wizard of Oz, though. It really is.
You are peeking behind the curtain.
The dog runs out. You can see everybody's clothes. I mean,
but may I say that it's also, it ends up being a very, very, if you want to learn how to play guitar, and learn how to play it well, and learn how to play it tastefully, and confidently, this is where you got to go.
Amen.
This is where you got to go.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful journey. I think it's a fantastic time. Now we have, I'm just want to make sure.
Well, so any topics you guys are interested in us talking about, make sure you post those. Also, if there's something, now I've been throwing out some ideas, like we're working on a lower third that will say like, play, or it's a blues jam. Oh, so if there's something that maybe you think we should have confetti with, I had talked to Alexis years ago about the inclusion of a mannequin, and we never were able to make that happen. I don't know if that was a budgetary issue, but that's, so if you have an idea for the show, aesthetics idea.
Someone's going to mention your ferns.
Oh, we could bring the fern back.
Want the ferns back.
Yeah.
Maybe some taxidermy, the bugs.
Taxidermy. But
could be
any type of ideas that you might have. There we go. Dr. Gratuitous Dylan.
Oh, Dr. Gratuitous Dylan. Yeah, he's available.
Yeah, so we're working on quite a few different special effects. A skeleton might be cheaper than a mannequin.
Okay, so Eric L didn't believe that you were really calling that stuff out, and I was playing along.
I swear to you, Eric, by the name of
Yeah.
all
No,
that
we've
is
never
good
met
in the
before,
world.
have we? And we've never performed this trick before. It was a stage magic. See, now this is now I am a mark.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Okay. Now we have another question, and this is a little more about how songs work, if you don't mind.
How songs work.
Eric Silver over in Brooklyn.
Eric Silver
wanted to know a little more about chromatic motion and why it seems like his favorite songs have it. Like, why does it make songs like the ones that really, really stick in his brain tend to have some sort of chromatic move? And he mentioned something like the minor line cliche, which is well, at least at Berkeley when I was there, we learned if you're an A minor, when the root note moves down chromatically. But you can do it in major too, like ELO's telephone line. Have you been? You know, it kind of has that. It starts moving down, or something by the Beatles also has that. C major 7, C dominant, and it goes to the 4. So those songs have sort of some. Sixpence None Richer.
Yeah.
Name that tune now.
Yeah, it was pretty good. That.
So what say you about this? About when we hear that little? Well, that's it. Hi, I'm Cease. He's desist.
No, you know what? So there's a couple ways to answer that, right? There's the very technical way to answer that, which
you're gonna do.
Implications of secondary dominance through voice leading. And then there's
keep it secondary dominance.
Yeah, you're like, hey,
kids are watching.
We're no profanity. Okay, thank you. Or
which is it, secondary or dominance?
Yeah. You can't, this is a two-way club. But or what I would probably say, I'm sorry, who's the gentleman that asked the question? Eric. What I would probably say to Eric is, because so many of the songs that you grew up with, the most highlighted points in the songs would have that chromatic motion in it, because chromatic motion means tension. And so they would use the tension of the song in the bridge or leading to the chorus. And the tension was where you got excited.
So, for instance, Crying by Roy Orbison. I was all right to Mickey D for a while. I could smile for a while. Okay, everything's fine. Here comes the trouble. And the chromatic motion is going to happen on the G string over this D chord. I love you even more than I did before.
Yeah.
But darling, what can I do? So it goes.
Yeah.
So he wants that tension right there on that lyric, right?
Right.
The worry is setting in.
And so that's one of the ways the tension's created is through chromatic motion. You can actually create it through sus chords as well. So if you have like... So the sus chords sound a little out of this world. Chromatic motion sounds like, hey, we're headed somewhere and I'm going to know when we land there.
Strong voice leading.
Yeah. And when music moved into the 20th century, into like atonal music, it just became all chromatic stuff. It became modular music that really had no true destination, because we were sort of pushing everything to the limits.
In the classical world.
In the classical world.
Okay,
and then so what the pop world has done is borrowed elements of 20th century and mixed it with elements of traditional tertiary harmony, which would be those.
So that's why. So like a lot of the Great American Songbook that we talk about, songs that were part of the Broadway tradition, the early days, they
very
have
much so.
A lot of that movement there.
Yes, and at that time, going to certain, like the minor 4 chord is in a ton of Beatles songs, right? Well, that's also what happened in that Crying song, and that lick of going to that chord in your song became a lick throughout history at different points in time. It wasn't necessarily going to a minor 4 chord. It could have been starting on. So basically starting on a minor 7-flat-5 chord.
Oh, that tension.
That kind of tension, like starting with tension. You hear that a lot in gospel music still.
Oh, yeah.
They'll literally, or they'll make just multiple chords. Like they'll literally just make a chord into a diminished chord and resolve it one with no explanation whatsoever. And it has just a lot of sort of history, like canonical history. And that's where a ton of this motion comes from. I mean, we go back as theorists and try to explain it, right? But realistically, it got there through popularity and through usage.
I always love, Crazy by Willie Nelson. Let's say we're doing A, as written by Willie Nelson, I should say. So now this right here.
And that's a turnaround, right? That's a quick turnaround.
And we can throw that into practically any song. Yeah. In fact, decades later, in a great country song, very well written. Chromatic move. When you're black, sitting right there in that song because it's classic. It's just a great piece of motion. There.
Toasted.
Now, these guys didn't steal it from Willie Nelson, and he didn't steal it from Rodgers and Hammerstein. It's just there, and you guys have just as much access or right to it as anybody does.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
I think
I'd love to hear some more chromatic motion and pop music.
I love the ideas that are getting popped out on the screen right here. You better know we're going to be writing these down later on.
Oh, look at Sean Briz. Oh, wait. Oh, Eric, that's good. We can get a skeleton much cheaper than a mannequin.
I've been shopping skeletons as well.
Excellent. No, I don't know.
I'm looking for one of those Halloween stores that shuts down every year and reopens.
Oh yeah, where did they go?
I don't know.
That's strange.
I don't know.
Let's see here. Explosion, spandex. Thank you, Keith M. Sean Brisbane. Future shows. Creating or playing arpeggios on bass and guitar.
Okay. Yeah.
And building speed in your lead playing. Well, that's definitely, we know that. Dave M says the pedal mobile has already been done. If you know, you know.
Oh, wow. Dave. Yes, Dave. I do know, actually.
Check out the brains on Dave.
Yeah.
Developing speed. This is coming up here. Hey, look, it's two guys reading.
Two guys reading with guitars. So that's it.
Lorraine, good to see you. You're late. We're glad you're here as well.
No problem at all.
Exactly. And see. Oh, and Julia wants us to go seasonal with the decorations.
Yeah. So somebody had a question about the Patreon and whether there's going to be exclusive content.
That's a good question.
So there's 2 levels in the Patreon, and honestly, we're really not actually. Although we do want to take over the world, it's not going to be through money from this show. It's basically just going to be able to do the show. To be honest with you. And so there's one level that is literally just the support level, the general support level, which is like $5 a month.
There you go.
And then the other one, I believe, is $10, and that one we're going to do specific videos for people.
Yeah, or another idea I had, and we may as well discuss it. Maybe like say 10 minutes before we go live, you have access to watching us set up and talk about how
or afterwards,
or afterwards, a little green room access, that sort of stuff.
I was thinking about hooking a GoPro to my head and just you can be with me all day.
We should put it on Rex
and just whatever Rex would have the Rex cam would be really fun. Yeah,
that's a good
so
idea.
We got a lot of ideas. But no, stuff like lighting the room well, being able to just make a good show for you guys, and also being able to kind of create sections, maybe hire a producer, all that kind of stuff.
Clearly, we got to come up with a tote bag.
With our logo. Is a great idea.
I'll tell you what, it's not bad.
I haven't thought about it. What are you gonna put your library books in?
Okay, so here's another question that someone had. Oh, I like to credit the folks who are brave enough to ask a question.
Absolutely.
And this was from Mike Delaney. He asked about country guitar solo essentials.
Wow.
Now this one, it's funny. I was in the studio last night with Dwight recording country guitar solos. So you do that. But where do we start? Well, in one thing is one way to build up your country guitar solo technique. Select a song. Oh, don't forget, country is song-based music more than anything else. It's always about the song. So find a tune. Don't worry about what the guitar solo is on the record necessarily. Just find a song that you know really, really well and figure out what the melody to the song is. Figure out the melody on your guitar. So if it's Friends in Low Places, just pick out that melody on as a single string thing, right? Now, then try playing that with what we would call ornamentations. Okay, so ornamentations are like the little guitarish things that we can do. Hammer-ons, bends, slides, pull-offs, add a harmony. In country music, in fact, it's kind of nice. Double stop harmonies are always big. So or find like a sixth or something like that. Find these spread out. So just learn how to play the melody on guitar first. Now this is going back to like the Louis Armstrong tradition, back in the Hot 5 recordings, where you just reinstate the melody, play the melody of the song, of the verse or the chorus, choose either. Now, as you're playing that over and over and over again, and you will be playing it over and over and over again, look for the opportunity to bend up a whole step. Look for an opportunity or a half step. Look for an opportunity to pull off or hammer onto those. So that was I was just throwing bends in there. Now I may keep them. I mean, I don't know. Another thing is hybrid picking. If you can get used to this right here. Now, of course, some country players just use the bare fingers, but more often than not, people start off using a flat pick. And then when they get to country, they realize we need. So this is usually going to be the thumb and the index finger holding the pick like this, and you're going to use the middle finger and the ring finger. And so what generally happens is the pick will be playing a lower note, and then you're going to assign the middle and ring fingers to 2 other strings. So in this case, I'll play. Let's say I'm going to play just this triad here, this A major triad. The pick is hitting the D string at the 7th fret. My middle finger is going to snap the G string at the 6th fret, and my middle finger is going to snap the is that right? Yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry. My ring finger is going to snap the B string at the 5th fret. So I'm just kind of doing this snappy, like rubber band. And you get used to that sort of motion, or you can do this. You start doing these
banjoistic.
Banjo sort of things. These are just some of the essential things you're going to do to apply to make a solo sound like a country guitar solo. Now, when we talk about country guitar solo, we're also going to talk about pedal steel bends, which I'll get into in a second. But the idea of what makes a solo a country guitar solo would really be these specific little, what I think of them as accents. You're going to add a twang to your accent as a guitar player, right? So it's not going to be a sophisticated, maybe an elegant, sophisticated accent like a jazz solo.
It's literally a twang,
but it's going to, and also it's bridge pickup, maybe, pick right near the bridge, kind of get a lot of. So the longer the string length, the twangier it's going to be. So that helps. A nice clean tone on your amp, maybe a little compression. What's another? And so then the pedal steel band stuff. Now, ironically, we both have guitars with floating bridges, so this is going to go out a little bit. Pro tip, by the way, this is funny because I mentioned this elsewhere. I don't know if a lot of people are aware of this. When you have a floating bridge, okay. So if I did like a triple stop steel bend, so my pinky is going to play the B and high E strings at the 10th fret. And then my ring finger is going to bend the G from fret 9. I'm going to bend it up a whole step. Notice those other strings went south as I was bending the G up. That's what happens on a floating bridge guitar. So now, some guys with their Strats, they just block those down. They don't have a floating. Eric Clapton, Mark Knopfler, they don't put a bar on it all, right?
Yeah.
So, or use a Telecaster or something like that.
Yeah.
Which if it has a bridge that's locked down, then it won't.
There's so many famous recordings where the guitar goes out of tune when they do that too.
Oh, well, Stevie Ray Vaughan, but we didn't really notice it because he was kind of working it into.
You can work in between the lines, so. Exactly. So I'm almost bending these strings down and this one up, and sort of that's cheating a little bit. There's what it is.
I'll tell you what. Next week, Mr. Delaney, I'll have a telly and I'll show you 2 or 3 really useful pedal steel type bends that we can do on guitar. Because playing country guitar, a lot of it is emulating a pedal steel guitar or livestock. Here's another good one more thing. Just a little muting a string and then snapping it. You get the chicken picking sound.
Oh, the chicken picking sound, yeah.
Now all we're doing is the first note, my finger's touching the string on the fretboard, it's not pressing down into the fretboard. And so I strike it and you get this muted sound. So do that.
Stopping sound with your fretting hand.
That's right. Then eventually I push down and get the note. So if I go. And that's just a real basic exercise. Get your hands used to doing this.
Do that with a scale. Just
you start to build up from there.
Yeah.
So, but this ends up being something that we do in country. I do it without really thinking. It's not like I think, I'm going to do a couple of muted notes.
This is one of many things he does without thinking.
I don't. Real real classic James Burton sort of stuff like there. So some of those notes were muted, some of them were fretted, and that also is one of those things that gives you that country solo
bumpkin
sound.
Country bumpkin sound.
Oh my gosh. Lorraine says, while you're brainstorming the tote bag design, we save some Trader Joe's bags and personalize them as a giveafway. Okay, well,
I mean, we can afford to be sued. You can't like take blood from a turnip. You know what I mean? It's is that? I feel like I said that wrong.
I don't know.
Might have been wrong. Eric, you got the whole story on LSL. That's great. I mean, I know Lance from having worked with him on guitars a few times, and I know him to be a very talented builder.
That's right. Yeah, Alexis loves the chicken picking too.
Alexis, thank you for the chicken picking
sort of stuff. So, and then eventually you'll just put into chords, actually just arpeggiate a chord. That sort of stuff. You just really get it in your hands.
We had an idea for a module on Patreon called Frickin' Chicken Pickin'.
Oh my goodness.
And I think it's something that has legs. Or
really skinny gawky ones that fill out at the top.
Sure, going to be very useful for that. Hey Bruce.
He says, great to have you guys back and imparting guitar knowledge at this time. I'm interested in learning chicken picking.
Absolutely. Well,
okay.
So it sounds like what we might need to do is some content on popular ways to make your guitar talk in country.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's a good topic for our next episode. What do you think?
Like it seems like a pretty organic thing.
I think it seems pretty organic. Seems pretty like down home, southern. Just something you can take home to your parents.
We're not wearing shoes now.
No, absolutely not. You guys, any ideas you have, please leave them here. We're gonna read it. The show is just starting out. We're just in our infancy, obviously, and we're working out the technical aspects of it. We're working out where Eugene's going to live. We're trying to figure out, which type of van is going to work out best.
Fortunately, the real estate in Southern California is a breeze.
It's a breeze. It's very cheap.
The good news.
And so, no, but we're really excited to do stuff for you. And we're looking forward to it. Can I tell you a
gear story?
Yeah, tell me a gear story.
Time for Tone Corner. So, again, I had a couple of club gigs this weekend here in LA. And the first one, Saturday night, it's this club down in downtown called the Escondite. Have you been? The Escondite?
Yes.
Pretty cool. Now, it's kind of a long, narrow room, and the stage is very small.
Wow.
It's tight, you know? And so to the point where I thought bringing my 65 reissue deluxe, even that might have been not a matter of too loud for the room, but just too big for the stage.
Too big for the stage.
So I take my Princeton. I have a 65 Princeton reissue, right? Little single 10 speaker combo. Take that. Fortunately, the singer, she also brought a Princeton as well. So they fit right next to each other.
Yeah.
And for this, I think I had the volume up at like 8. Treble at 8, bass down at like 2. Just
gives it a little bit of
treble
starting to distort just a hair.
Oh yeah, baby. Yeah. Not only that, but at that point with a tube amp like that, different amps have different stages, but once you get the volume past a certain number, usually past 6 on a lot of Fender amps at least, you're going to start to get a natural gain, but also the tubes are going to start to compress a bit as well. You're going to get some natural compression.
You can taste the Cold War. When you get it up just right.
I was in heaven. Oh my God. Next stop, Cloud 9. I had a blast. Just pushing a small amp like that. Now, here's the thing. This is something I tell my students to do all the time.
Yeah.
I just rarely take, I take my own advice.
Right.
And then the next night I was playing this cowboy bar up in Chatsworth.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a wide room, good size room. And I said, you know what? I'm taking the Princeton again. I'm running it back.
Did you mic it? You didn't even mic it.
Didn't mic it.
Edgy.
It was fantastic.
Very edgy.
Oh my Lord.
But Chatsworth's the place to be edgy.
Funny, man. Now I had a telly for the first set I played the telly all night on Saturday. Fantastic. Sunday night, first set or so, I played the telly and I broke a string, of course.
Yeah.
So I had this as a backup, take the string. And I plug it in, tune it up, and I don't get a chance to reset the EQ or anything or volume. I just put this on, and the singer, he looks at it, he goes, well, since you got that, let's hear Pride and Joy. See Ray Vaughan. Okay, and I went right into it, and it was it. I'm telling you, it just had. And now I'm gonna clean sound. Once we got there, I was surprised how close it sounded to the Stevie Ray. So just get a small amp and push it. Just push it, man. I'm telling you. A
small tube amp is the
tube amp.
The note on that
one. Tube amp. Now I had a few pedals on the floor, but just never touched them.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of what we want to do is some gear rundowns too.
Mm-hmm.
So we can talk about Eugene's rig, my rig, any pedals that we have that you guys might be thinking about getting. I wanted to run some of these fancy country licks past them in the actual setting. What do you think?
What do you mean?
So if I gave you one of these, trade some licks.
Oh, so I'm gonna go to my bridge pickup right now. That was redneck jazz, folks. Just to be fair, we didn't say
So yeah, I mean, it just comes real natural.
Well, see, that always say so like George W. Bush. Your voice just becomes a Texan. No, so it came over him. I don't like. Kara says, I don't know if we can say we missed Dylan's puns, but we've definitely missed you.
Well, when I'm out on the ranch in Crawford,
so yeah, Tone Corner. Yeah, Tone Corner. There's going to be little segments in the show. Yeah, I think we will have segments. Actually, we might start breaking it down to like, here's the technique part, here's the theory part, here's the gear part.
Sort of a weekend update situation.
Maybe. We will. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll have sports. We'll have weather.
The frizzies.
The financial stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll do the financial stuff.
I'll do the financials. It's bad.
Talking about blues turnarounds, we can definitely go into that. Well, and that, in fact, we played one that one. What's the name?
That's a tritone sub for
tritone sub.
Yeah. So if
I have at Jersey Bikes the other day,
and I do, that's the same thing. So it's the tritone of the 4-chord is basically what you're implying there.
Oh,
yeah.
And then you go straight to the 5.
Yeah. And if you don't have that note in the bass, it's
how does that
easier.
work in the blues?
How does it work in the blues?
Does it work in the blues? Like,
oh yeah,
a blues turnaround. Define
a blues turnaround. So a blues turnaround pretty much is sourced from jazz blues. Correct. So anyways, so it's basically like every possible substitution that you could stick in there. Jazz just got to the point where
okay, but do you think maybe he's thinking like at the end of a 12-bar blues phrase, like how
they're taking pieces of that and sticking it out? Yeah, so they're taking elements of jazz and like the turnarounds in jazz, which is 1-6-2-5
in G. 12-bar, right? There's the 1 chord. No 4 chord.
So chromatic approach diatonically. Chromatic approach to 5.
Now, here's what now we can, now when we're approaching the 5 chord, somewhere between there and starting the phrase over again, is that where a turnaround would happen, or where it could happen?
That's exactly where it could happen. In the case of that diminished turnaround, it's the note that he lands on in the vocals. Showed up in boots. That's part of the reason that chord is there.
Okay, but in our G blues, I was about to go to the 5 chord, but how about if I just start from the 2 minor instead?
Yeah.
Right
yeah,
there.
in country they go to the 2 major a lot too.
Oh, country.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a very high end.
And it's very common. So I mean, they're very like genre-based licks, and they're sort of passed on. Like you learn songs and you use the tools you learned from the song to write your own song later on, and that's literally what all these famous country folks were doing.
Sean Brisbane says, "I think I'm going to wear a seatbelt." I can
tell it's going to get quite interesting very fast. Yeah, I mean, we have quite a few props that we didn't bring out this time.
Darren M. segment on the first pedals a rookie should buy, asking for a friend.
That's a great idea.
You know what? By the way, this is
literally that name, asking for a friend.
You know, a couple, maybe you do this, and I never thought of it, but a couple of guys I know, they have their really nice pedal board.
Yeah.
But then they'll just kind of put like a kind of the cheap pedal board, the what they call it, the fly board, or if you will. It's maybe just 3 or 4 pedals.
If it fell off the boat, you know, it would be inconvenient,
right? But and this is the one they'll throw on a plane. In fact, one of my buddies, you know, he has the house gig at the Desert 5 spot, and people sit in all the time.
Yeah.
So he just made this little 3 or 4 pedal board.
Yeah.
Just, you know, it has a gain, it has a delay, it has gosh, I mean, I don't know what the other, I mean, you know, maybe a tremolo and a tuner, and that's it. And he won't even put it on the floor anymore because it gets kicked around and knocked around by strangers.
Yeah.
He puts it on his amp back here. But the idea here is like it's kind of the disposable pedal board. Now, I mean, if you don't have like a lot of money to spend on pedals, but I was fascinated by this, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, I think I need a fly board. I think I need a fly board.
I think you may.
Yeah.
You need a fly board. Well, yeah, I think that'd be a great topic for a show.
But my point is, it is a great topic for a show, yes. But maybe the things on the flyboard are probably a good way to indicate what those first pedals for a rookie should be. Like I just got inspired by Total Pros.
What do you take to a desert island?
That's right. This is their desert island pedal board. I mean,
desert island pedal board.
You know, take a tuner.
I think it's a great idea. Yeah.
Gain pedal.
Yeah, the other concept would be maybe discussing a little bit about gain staging, like why do people use multiple distortion pedals?
Yeah.
That seems to be a big wondrous question there. There's so much for us to cover, you guys. We're looking forward to doing the show for at least the next 20 to 30 years. For you.
Yeah.
So
that's, and then also the pedal chain. That's always a common one. So thank you, Adventures of One Wire. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Probably an electrical engineer, maybe. Or
okay, why just one wire?
Could be one wire, bird's wire.
Is it a bird on a wire?
Yeah. Well, either way, you guys have been fantastic. This is just the first show. It's gonna get froggy, so bring your waders. And I'm
wearing duck boots. Actually,
I think you guys,
because it's raining.
I want to thank you guys so much for being here today. And we'll be on next week at the same time. We'll advertise. Make sure you share it with your friends, or tell your ancestors and everyone else that you've met. Just add your dentist, someone that works on your car. Everybody. We really need all of them to tune in. We'll make sure we take care of everyone somehow.
And again, once we get kind of things up and running, we'll be able to accommodate guests and stuff, and we'll have different voices and different faces.
We're looking forward to some of your best favorite people from places yonder.
You know where they're coming from. Now, you know what? Should we come up with some now, of course, it's great if they've got their guitars in hand and they're playing along or what have you. I know we can reignite that tradition too. Is there like a chord that they should go out with which we should go out?
So let's say
or should they play along with this country thing in A for now? Should it be a different group?
Let's go.
We haven't really worked this out.
Yeah. That's something we'll have to come back to, I guess.
Scott, look at don't ask the question. Don't read it out loud. I don't know why, but
it's okay to Scott. I cannot.
We can't tell you what or what not to do, Scott Fogelman. You are an autonomous human who has the right to do whatever he, she, or they wants to do. And Marie said 3. I don't know how to.
E. I say an E chord. Honestly, E for everyone gets to enjoy this show. Everyone.
But yeah, tell everyone to subscribe so they don't have to search for it every time.
Everybody, please subscribe and like the show.
That makes sense. To make it easier. What's it cost you to subscribe?
Let's go out on these country licks. Here we go. Okay. 1.
What key?
A, 2, ready, again. Give us an E. C you guys next week. Have a great show. We're doing the show now. Have a great week. Have a great week.